Hey everyone, Itai Manero here, and in this video I'm going to reveal what my art challenge and Procreate freebies for the month of February are going to be about. So let's jump right into it. But first I want to say thank you to everyone who participated in last month's challenge. I had a blast seeing all your awesome submissions and the incredible and healthy sense of community you guys keep promoting by liking, sharing, and commenting on other artists' submissions. You can search by the hashtag Manero Challenge on Instagram and Twitter, but mostly on Instagram, to check out all the incredible artworks and give their creators some love. If you're not familiar with my challenge of the month, basically I provide you with a free and exclusive Procreate brush every month, a color palette, and an art prompt. The challenge is to draw or paint something based on the prompt, using only the brush and the color palette provided. To join the fun, you can post your art on social media by using the hashtags ManeroBrushes and ManeroChallenge, and also make sure to tag me so I and others can see it. Feel free to include this image in your post as well. I will be sharing your awesome creations with my audience. You can find the link to download these freebies in the description below. The prompt for February is anthropomorphic butt. I hope we can approach this challenge from a family-friendly perspective and create something cartoonish, silly, and fun. I had the idea of how fun it would be to draw a vintage portrait of a distinguished gentleman, but with a butt for a face. To make things even funnier, I decided to take inspiration from the style of legendary artist Mike Mignola, since his art can look so dramatic and impactful with all that heavy play of lights and shadows. I started by drawing a frame for the portrait. I wanted it to look very classy, intricate, and luxurious. Since this was just a rough sketch, I used the symmetry tool in Procreate to save time on drawing both sides of the frame. I did look for a few references for the frame, but ended up drawing pretty much my own design. For the character itself, I took advantage of the fact that my friend Mario Lara was visiting for a few days, and I asked him to pose so that I could take a photo for reference. He was surprisingly honored to have his face replaced with a butt. I began with a more or less accurate sketch of his body and pose. And then I used the selection and transform tools to mess with the proportions of the shoulders and the head placement. It's fun because for this challenge, I tried to imagine how Mike Mignola would draw a butt, and I drew it in a way that could fit the Hellboy universe in my opinion. I probably would have never chosen to draw a butt with these shapes normally. I then sketched the library behind the character, including the lamp and some other decorations. One of the things I find more difficult to mimic from Mignola's style is the way he approaches lighting and shadows in his drawings. He really is a master of what to draw and what to only suggest with big masses of black ink. Since I'm not even close to his mastery, what I did here was to fill the whole surface of my drawing with black with low opacity so that I still could see my sketch. I then erased the areas where I thought the light would reveal parts of my drawing, almost as if I was carving with light. At first I started just using this month's brush with the eraser tool, but soon I switched to the selection tool because it felt quicker. After all the shadows and lights were placed, I switched to this month's brush again, to add some finer details here and there. I tried to mimic the kind of small lines Mignola always adds to his drawings, and also the type of short cross-hatching he uses from time to time. Once I was happy with my sketch, I created a new layer and I filled it with white, and then I lowered the opacity so that I could see all my sketch layers below it. Then on a new layer, I started inking my final lines. Here, I basically refined and further simplified the lines of my sketch, making them cleaner and more meaningful. It was a pretty straightforward process, because all the heavy lifting was done during the sketch part. I usually do this part in a very automated way, while listening to some music or a podcast. By the way, I know my take on the challenge is very focused on studying Mike Mignola's style, but you don't necessarily have to do that. If you want, you could take the opportunity to try and study your favorite artist, and try to draw your bad character in the style of someone you admire. It's a great way to learn, and you surely can understand how others think during their process, and maybe incorporate a thing or two in your own art. But you could also just draw your take on this challenge in your own style, and that's it. Either way is totally fine. Also, you don't need to do a Victorian type of portrait. This is just what I decided to go for. You can do anything you like. You could draw a superhero with a butt face, flying up in the sky with a cape, showing a fun side of being a hero. Or how about drawing a funny wizard with magic coming out from his backside, holding a magic wand. You can also think of a diver deep in the sea, seeing bright fish around, while their butt-shaped helmet shows the underwater world. Or even a drummer in a band, playing cool music and keeping everyone watching with their unique appearance. Anyway, I finished my illustration by giving color to it, using the included color palette for this month's challenge. Hellboy comics are usually colored with this minimalistic approach, of flat colors with extremely subtle color gradients, that works so well with Mignola's style. Since this month's brush has sharp edges, what I did to achieve the gradients was to paint with flat colors, and then apply slight Gaussian blur filters in very specific spots. And this is the final result to my own take on the challenge. I really hope you liked this video and that you decide to join the fun. I can't wait to see what you guys will create this month. Of course, if you have any questions after watching this video, feel free to ask in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more art related videos and give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure to check out my Gumroad page where you will find the challenge of the month freebies and many other brush sets for Procreate that I have available. I'm sure something will suit your artistic needs. All the links are in the description below. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.